This is the first interview Troy McCoy gave. We do not have a copy of the audio recording of this interview. FBI agent Philip Jones, the 15th of August 2018, Troy McCoy, was interviewed at his place of employment, Anadarko Petroleum Corporation. Agent Greg Zentner, Colorado Bureau of Investigation, was also present during the course of the interview. After being advised of the identities of the interviewing agents and the nature of the interview, McCoy provided the following information. McCoy is an Anadarko field supervisor, and he has known Christopher Watts for approximately 2.5 years. Watts and McCoy have sometimes worked opposite schedules, but they have been on the same work schedule maintaining E40 oil sites, or batteries, since approximately October 2017. McCoy and Watts generally only interact at work, but McCoy met Watts' wife Shanann Watts at the 2017 company Christmas party. McCoy was aware that Shanann sold Thrive products, and McCoy's wife had also become involved with the product. McCoy believed he had been to Watts' home twice, the most recent occasion around February 2018. McCoy's children had played with Watts' daughters, Celeste and Bella. McCoy remarked that one of his children had seen photographs of Celeste and Bella on news channels following their disappearance and had asked if Celeste and Bella could come and play. McCoy recalled that during his interaction with Shanann, she was often on the telephone speaking with clients. McCoy was aware that Shanann had recently spent approximately 6 weeks in North Carolina, and Watts had flown out to visit in early August. McCoy was also aware that Shanann had recently traveled to Arizona for a work trip and had just returned. Watts had told McCoy about marital problems with Shanann, but he did not elaborate in depth. Watts and Shanann loved their children, and McCoy believed they were trying to talk things out. Watts was described as humble and quiet, and McCoy never had the impression that Watts was seeing anyone else. McCoy last saw Watts on Monday, the 13th of August 2018. McCoy and Watts were working on equipment at an oil well called Survey 319 near Roggen, Colorado. McCoy believes he made it to Survey 319 at approximately 8:30 a.m. Chad McNeil and Melissa Parrish were also assisting. Parrish is relatively new, and she was shadowing Cody Roberts at the time. Roberts had reported an issue with the well the previous Friday, the 10th of August 2018, so their task at Survey 319 was to correct the problem. The group left Survey 319 at approximately 11 a.m. and traveled to UPRC 1029. At some point after arriving at the second site, Watts began receiving notifications that a friend, Nicole Utoft, was ringing his home doorbell trying to contact Shanann. Watts spoke with Nicole on the telephone a few times. He had walked away from a gas motor when he took these calls, but he was in McCoy's vicinity. Watts left UPRC 1029 soon after taking these calls. Watts was driving his Anadarko work truck, which is a brown Ford F-250, or similar. Watts's truck has 2 toolboxes, 2 tanks and other items in the bed. McCoy explained that the beds of their work trucks are generally fully laden, which makes tasks such as hauling an additional air compressor in the bed difficult. The truck is an extended cab, but not a full, 4-door crew cab. McCoy knows Watts to keep his truck very clean, and he does not believe Watts generally keeps much in the rear seat besides jackets or other clothing. McCoy remarked that Watts's home was also very clean when he visited early in the year. McCoy text messaged Watts later in the day to ask how he was. McCoy provided verbal consent for interviewing agents to access McCoy's cellular telephone and photograph and video text messages sent between McCoy and Watts. Reiter began photographing messages prior to transitioning to video recording due to the amount of content. The messages for both personal and work telephones are maintained on disks and stored in 1A envelopes associated with this document. It should be noted that text messages to Watts's work telephone were recovered the 17th of August 2018 during a follow-up interview with McCoy with interviewing agents. See Colorado Bureau of Investigation reporting for additional information about this follow-up interview. McCoy believes it generally takes about an hour or an hour and 15 minutes to drive to Survey 319 from the Anadarko office. There are approximately 540 batteries in the area maintained by McCoy's group. 6 or 7 of these sites are on or near Survey Ranch, which is a cattle ranch. Most of these are older sites that will be eventually plugged and abandoned. The sites are generally not very large, and they may contain a couple of tanks, a water pit and a well. McCoy, Watts and their crews are responsible for keeping these wells operating until the wells are shut down. Survey 319 specifically has tanks, a plunger lift and a single separator. The tanks have openings that are approximately 12 inches by 12 inches and a manway cover on the back held by 27 or more bolts. Clean-out crew sometimes come and access tanks via this hatch. McCoy was familiar with another associate of Watts, a male, name unknown. Watts had introduced this male to running 10-kilometer runs. The unidentified male's wife is also involved in Thrive, which is how McCoy and Watts met him. Watts has lost weight over the past year or so, which he attributed to working out and meal preparation. Watts explained that he was trying to become healthy. McCoy was not aware of any additional associates, friends, or family for either Watts or Shanann. He was not aware of any jealousy issues, enemies, or any other malicious intent toward either Watts or Shanann. McCoy provided a map of the Survey Ranch and surrounding sites. Writer photographed this map, and these photographs are electronically maintained with this document. These are the clips taken from Troy's phone on the 15th of August 2018. Troy's texts are indicated with a blue line and Chris's are indicated with a red line.
So do you know Chris went to any other wells before he went to this 319 that
No,
morning?
sir, I don't. But if you guys need to verify that, you can check his card site.
It is.
It's called a card site, or actually it's called a geotab nowadays.
Oh, okay.
Every
I didn't know
Narco has
that.
a geotab,
Yeah.
inside of all of our vehicles.
Okay.
So it tracks everywhere we go, how fast we're going, whether or not we're wearing a seatbelt, if we take a call over Bluetooth, everything.
Okay.
So.
So is Ruggin about an hour from Frederick also, do you think?
Well, it's you go right down 52, and as soon as you get to Hudson, so from Frederick to Hudson, I don't know how long that would take, sir. So you got to go through Fort Lupton. So I imagine that'd probably be about an hour, maybe, to get to Hudson, and then I don't know, from Hudson to Roggin. Hudson to Roggin on the interstate, going 75 miles an hour. You can usually make it to that Roggin exit probably 25 minutes, 30 minutes.
Okay.
I'm guessing, and then it's a little bit of a trek back into Survey because
Where is Survey from? So is it north or south of the interstate?
it would be all right from the interstate because you go underneath the overpass. So I guess it would be on the north side. Yes. Yeah, because there's a little two-track there, or not two-track. There's a little cattle guard, and you pass it, and then you go underneath this really narrow deal underneath the interstate.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
My thoughts. I have found no evidence that Shanann and Chris went to the company Christmas party. Shanann posted everything she was doing. She didn't post anything that year about going to this party. Watts and Shanann loved their children. This stood out to me. He is talking in past tense. It should read Watts and Shanann love their children. Why is Troy talking in past tense and not present tense? No one at this point when Troy was interviewed knew they were gone. The time from Anadarko Petroleum Corporation, 501 North Division Boulevard, Platteville, Colorado to Survey 319 does not take an hour or an hour and 15 minutes as Troy said. The quickest route takes 42 minutes, the longest route is 56 minutes. I would imagine when going from the office one would choose to drive the quickest route.